Donald Trump says the U.S. and Iran had, quote, very good and productive talks over the weekend. The U.S. president adding he will hold off any military strikes against Iranian power plants for 5 days. Now, that is a backtrack on Trump's threat to strike power plants if Tehran did not allow the full reopening of the Strait of Hormuz by tonight. Well, following that initial threat, Iran said it would in return attack electrical plants across the Middle East if Trump followed through. But now the Iranian news agency is saying there's been no communication with the United States. We're going to try and break all of this down now for you with Philip Turle, who joins me on set. Now, Philip, this announcement from Donald Trump has been received with a sigh of relief by the markets today amid growing fears of U.S. intervention. But how credible now is the threat of U.S. strikes and the situation in general, given what we're hearing from Iran?
Well, it's just more confusing, I think, because we don't really know who's saying what in this. Donald Trump saying, yes, I've had, quote, good discussions with the Iranians over the war, which actually sounds quite extraordinary, seeing as the US has launched attacks against Iran almost non-stop now for 4 weeks. And Iran is saying that there have been no discussions. So we don't know whether this is Donald Trump trying to buy time, saying, OK, we've had these discussions. I'm not going to do it tonight at midnight. I'm not going to bomb these power installations. I'm going to delay that now for 5 days in a way of saying, OK, that gives me more time to try to work out what exactly is going on here, what I'm actually going to do in the long run. So the Iranians have joined in on this, saying, well, look, we've had no discussions with the US. There has been no agreement on a ceasefire, and we would not accept that anyway, and there are no negotiations. They are still asking for the same things, the Iranians have said. They are asking for the closure of all US bases in the region as a premise to ending the war. They want $2 million per ship, US ship, for it to be allowed to go through the Strait of Hormuz, or any ship going through the Strait of Hormuz which is affiliated to the United States or an ally of the United States. And the other point the Iranians have said they are asking for is they want $100 billion in reparations from the United States and Israel for all the damage that has occurred in their country since the start of this war. So we don't really know what is going on. We don't know what Donald Trump has talked to and who he's talked to and exactly what those two people have worked out together. So
if these strikes were to go ahead in 5 days' time, let's say from the U.S., what is Iran's response likely to be?
OK, well, to begin with, the Americans have got the capacity to knock out these installations in Iran. There are about 400 or so dotted around the country, but there are 4 main ones which produce the large part of energy for the Iranians. Now, they are fired by gas, but they can also run on diesel fuel. The US, in theory, has the firepower to be able to knock those out. The problem is that if they do, they're going to knock out not only the power in Iran, but also in several of Iran's neighbors. And this is going to have a knock-on effect on, for example, powers that, or plants that use electrical power to refine drinking water and make it drinkable for people in the region. That's going to pose a big problem for many in the Gulf. What the Iranians could do also, and what they have threatened to do, is to retaliate by not attacking US bases in the region, but attacking other Gulf countries and their installations. We've already seen that in the last few days. Last Wednesday, Israel attacked the South Pars gas field in Iran. Then Iran almost uniformly retaliated by attacking the Ras Laffin gas field in Qatar. And then on the 21st of March, this weekend, Israel attacked Iran's nuclear facility at Natanz. Iran then attacked the town of Dimoa in Israel, which is close to where a nuclear installation is located. So it's pretty easy to guess that if there is going to be an attack by US forces on those installations in Iran, be they nuclear or be they just power installations, then Iran will pretty rapidly respond with attacks to either US interests in the region or to other installations, power installations in other Gulf